Well, welcome to We All Eat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
This is the first episode. I wanted to start this so we could dive deeper into like what you do, Jay and Hamza, who are here. You don't know. I didn't say that part yet, but cut that out.
We'll make it fun.
So yeah, I wanted to start this basically to just talk about more what we all do and why we do it. And I feel like there's a lot of people that want to do what we do, just don't know where to start. And I feel like if I opened up the doors for other people to see our journeys and what we do and like the cool people that I'm surrounded with consistently, it would maybe like make people feel better about taking this journey, because it's not something that's so easy to jump right into. And a lot of us, I think every one of us here didn't do this first. We chose another path and then we ended up here.
For sure.
So yeah, I wanted to talk more about that, and we could start there really. So I wanted to talk about like both of you, Hamza and Jay, where you guys were before you started doing video and photo, and what pushed you to get involved in this world. That's not the easiest, but it's a hell of a lot of fun once you do it.
So I started off as a girl in middle school who, my name is... Okay. What's up, guys?
Bunch of Pisces trying to talk on camera. This is interesting.
I know, right? What's up, guys? My name is Jay. I'm a photographer and videographer. I started off as a girl in middle school who really enjoyed making iMovie videos. And then I went off to high school, graduated high school, went off to college, dropped out my third year. I went to college for accounting, and that was just not my jam. I hated it. I knew I had a passion for video, and so I dropped out of school and just pursued that and haven't looked back since. H-Boy, tell me about you.
H-Boy. Let's me. Okay, it's still on, right? Right there. I'm on. Thank you. All right, we're good. All right, what's up? I am Hamza. What am I looking? Your camera. Us. No, I'm looking at you guys. Us. Jay, Hamza. Nice to meet you. Basso, Hamza.
Oh, nice to meet you, dude.
May I shake your hand?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
What was the question?
Just introduce yourself. Basically, what were you doing before you picked up a camera, and what made you make that jump from what you were doing to picking up a camera?
All right, so I used to be a chemist before, so this is a second career that I have now. What got me into filmmaking was Freddie Wong back in high school. I don't know if you guys ever watched Freddie Wong. He used to make YouTube videos, and he was the first guy that I saw online that could do all these VFX stuff on like an iMac at home, and that caught me off guard. I was like, wait, what? I imagined supercomputers for all these VFX. So I got into it in high school. College, just sat in the back, like didn't touch it at all because I wanted to be a doctor. Then going into my career as a chemist, it was like 2 weeks in where I had a realization that I probably didn't want to do this or pursue medicine anymore. That's fine. I probably think it's good enough. So then I told everyone that was close to me, hey, I might take a little bit of a break before deciding to go to med school. And they're like, okay, like you could take your time to figure this out, until I really couldn't figure it out. And then I dusted off my camera because after work I didn't have anything to do. And that kind of kickstarted all of this, the interest back in.
How did your parents react? Because I know you come from a very religious background, right?
Culturally.
Yeah, culturally.
Yeah, it's pretty strong in terms of like what your kids do. Or, I mean, I'm brown. Can you guess on the poll what my parents wanted to be? Is it A, a clown, B, a doctor, C, a doctor, or E, a doctor? A doctor, yeah. That's what they wanted, like my entire life. And I wanted it too, because my dad I respected my dad a lot and how he viewed me. I've always wanted to make my dad proud, so was like, okay, cool. I'll be a doctor and I will make a lot of money. People are going to like me. Like, it sounds good. I do good to the world. So when I didn't want to, that's when I had my entire nuclear family and extended family just corner me. Even in family events, they would like come up and say, so you're just going to waste all that time? Like, you did so well in school. Like, why are you doing this? They looked at me like I was crazy because I was someone who actually worked hard in school, and I did well and I did whatever I could. And all of a sudden, like, I had a flip of the switch. So no one really understood it. They just said, okay, you know, maybe you just need a little bit of like a break. And yeah, so it didn't go too well.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because I feel like you were so good at school and it's still like transitioned well for you. Because like me and Jay were talking about it earlier, like you're very analytical.
Yeah.
So like having that background, like being super number, like, because I'm far from that. I'm fucking far from that. So like seeing you be like that, it's like, damn, like it's a nice combo and it works really well in your situation. But yeah, so like, but like Jay, what made you go for accounting? That's what I want to know. I just wouldn't, I don't know. I just wouldn't have like guessed account. I don't know what I would have guessed.
It's going to make sense as soon as she says it.
My mother and I were really close. She's like my lady. I love her. She is an accountant and she does very well off accountant. And so she has this thing called a safety blanket on me. So graduating high school, she basically was like, do you want to be a starving artist for the rest of your life and film weddings? Or do you want to become an accountant and have a reliable job that pays benefits, you know, the weekly, bi-weekly, weekly paycheck? So I went to school for accounting almost like to please her, but at the same time I thought it was cool. I didn't know that I could have a career pressing a button with a camera. You know, I back then, this was I would say maybe 2013, 14, I was like questioning all this. And back then, like, it was around, but it was like getting started, I feel like. Or there was like some few people, but like not a lot of people were like taking the faith into creating something for themselves. People were more into working for
Yeah, like corporate jobs, yeah. So you didn't have anyone to really help you? You just did it yourself, really, basically? Or like, did you have anyone that you attached yourself to that helped you build up that creative and like learn the camera and stuff like that?
I always had, like, I used to make like skateboarding videos on my laptop. I always did YouTube videos. And when I made the decision to drop out of college, I did not know how to use a camera, like an actual like manual aperture autofocus. Sorry.
Like manually set on a camera, like a camera.
I don't know what a camera is right now. But I didn't know anything about a camera. So I bought my camera, and I bought a stabilizer and a lens. And I remember I bought it was a 90 millimeter lens shipped from Amazon. I put it on my camera and I'm like, why isn't it zooming in? Why isn't it zooming in and out? Like, what's going on here? It was a fixed lens, of course, duh. Yeah. Ton, did I answer the question?
Kind of. Yeah, you did because you kind of did it yourself. Like, you didn't have anyone like, because for me, when I decided, because like for a little bit of my background, I like was in like fucking 4 different schools before I knew I wanted to do film. So my first year out of high school, I did go to a school, Art Institute of New York. Don't ever fucking, terrible. They don't even stay anymore. But I went there for a year, and then I dropped out too because the school was shit. Like, there was a lot of empty promises with the school and stuff like that. And then I ended up just moving back home, going to community college. I tried media community, just nothing ever stuck, because what I needed, which I ended up doing, was I needed to be surrounded by people doing it. Because for me, it was more motivating. Like, none of my friends were doing that. Like you said, like, there was no one pushing buttons on a camera and stuff. Like, they're all getting corporate jobs. One of my friends in there is like, I was the only one that wanted to do this, really. So I just took the leap of faith and went to school, and that's like really what pushed me to really do it. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with this.
Where did you find yourself, like, if you didn't have that, you were like kind of like the only one, where did you find yourself learning a lot of this? I know you went to like film school, like,
so yeah, film school didn't, like, thing about the school I went to was you learn a lot of everything, No, sorry, you learn everything, but a little bit of everything because it's like very fast paced. Like it's like a trade school basically. So like every month you're taking like a different class space, and so like every month's different. So like I maybe took one editing class. Everything else was YouTube University. So whatever I wanted to learn, I could either go to those teachers and ask and like learn that way, like expand it that way, or like a lot of the editing was YouTube. So
YouTube University.
yeah. Well, I went to Florida. If anyone doesn't know, not our institute. After working at a gym for a year and hating my life because I was so stagnant, I decided to take the leap of faith and go to Full Sail University out in Orlando, which a lot of people has mixed reviews, but I feel like it's one of those things that it's like what you make out of it. So like, yeah, you can go to school and you can learn it all, but if you don't like take that and like make the connections, reach out to people, like that's how I met Hamza really. Like a mutual friend working with him and I saw his work, I was like, wow, he's dope. Like, let me just DM him.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. And then we were supposed to meet up and funny thing is I ended up getting a job interview that I had to go to and we never even met up that first time. We were supposed to meet in the city.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you decided not to show up?
No, I actually had an interview at what place was it? Whatever. It was one of the camera rental shops that I ended up not getting, but I kind of happy I did it. But yeah, so that's really that.
Well, so yeah, I mean, okay, so you hit me up on I know it was Instagram.
Yeah.
I think
Slid in your DMs.
you slid in my DM. But we never connected the first time. I think the first time we actually met, I didn't know you were going to be there.
No, it was
Dan.
Yeah, it was
at a wedding.
Yeah. And then that was right as you were starting to do your own thing.
With weddings?
Yeah, because I think the first time I actually worked with you on something, like on one of your projects, that's when you and Ashley decided to hop on full time and she quit her job.
Yeah.
And I remember that was a big thing for you because like you felt so nervous because it was like a lot, like you took on someone else's like livelihood basically.
Yeah.
But it ended up working out. I mean, if you want to expand on that, I think everyone would like to hear more about that because I think that's like, it's just a big thing that I feel like, first of all, a lot of creatives struggle with is expanding. Like we're such technicians in it that we don't understand that like in order to grow, you have to bring in other people. You have to, take that leap. And I think you're really good at that. I'm terrible at it.
What, taking the leap?
Just like being able to like pass things off and trust that it will get done and things will work out and delegate things.
I mean, there's so many nuances that come with growing a team. Things that I'm still learning now. But that's a whole other.
Yeah. But I think that goes back to your like analytical background, like even your school, like the way you are. I don't know. You're very structured.
Yes.
I'm good at like systems thinking. Like I'm good at connecting different dots and seeing how things work and how everything comes together. But I think inherently it's learning how to lean into your gut feeling is the big thing. It's like the internal compass that you have to like, okay, why do you want to grow a team? I also think like growing a team for the sake of growing a team, it doesn't really do anything because you're then, in order to get where you want to go, you want to add people in. And I think that is a broken way of looking at it because we're not robots. You can't be efficient with people. If you want to grow with a team, you have to understand that they are also human beings. And whether you like it or not, you have to learn how to deal with whatever issues, personal troubles, and all their quirks that they have. You have to learn how to work with them. You have to know what's important to them so that way they can be then for the cause, right? Enabling people to be part of a cause, not feel like hires, I think is one of the most difficult things. But I think with weddings or even anything we do, I think we've done a really good job with that, where no one feels like they're just a hire there. Everyone is part of something bigger. I'd like to think at least that's probably one of the more fun parts about shooting weddings with us which is fun.
Yeah, that's what I always say that to everyone I talk about. I'm like, it's great because first of all, the pays well, like more than most people make at a regular job. And then like half the time it doesn't even feel like you're working because we're goofing around. Like even like the couples, like
they're amazing,
perfect, and like it always just works out. I don't know. It's just like a lot of fun. It doesn't feel like a lot of stress.
Yeah,
it's very like it's great. Like, and that's not, I've done a lot of different weddings with different people, and that's not always the case.
Yeah, well, I think it's just figuring out your rhythm, especially with business too, right? I think a lot of people just like throw out the window the fact that being a good human is the basis of like having a good business, right? And then you build everything on top of that. Getting the right client always starts with like how you want to converse with the client, how you decide to set up your reasons why you do business, right? I think the biggest thing that people don't have is a reason to say no, right? Where someone is giving you an odd feeling or they're negotiating you down, like all these things that you can use to decide, is this really going to be that environment where I can bring my best work? If the answer is no, then no. Leaning into that a lot, knowing what questions to ask, what people care for, care about. Actually, no, we talked about this pretty recently too, right? Even last time, like growing a team and how that brings with it its own set of challenges. But first, I want to know what made you decide to actually start scaling up and building a team? Because most people actually don't do that. I think out of all of our close friends, Jay's the one person who is like actively still like developing and boom.
So I realized I needed, like, this all can't be done with just myself, was when, like, that, just like burning out, just trying to do everything, trying to take control of everything. Once I realized that where are my weaknesses? Like, I realized that I'm not the best communicator. Let me have someone to handle all that stuff with the clients, like the back and forth. So I realized that's one weakness. Let me hire somebody on that. I also realized that I spend a lot of time making social reels for Instagram, but okay, now I'm spending time on doing that while ignoring client work. Both things are very important, social and obviously the work I promised my clients. So I realized that maybe I can tap into that, have someone help me with content to post on social to then get leads and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to fill in the gaps. Where can I get help in my business to help me have the creative freedom to then create the best I can?
That was really good.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
Good job.
How did you end up, because I know you picked up a camera and wanted to do that, but like, what made you go like weddings, engagement route? Because we never talked about it that ever. I never really.
I didn't choose the wedding.
It chose me.
Yeah, it just chose me. I was into just kind of like, I never wanted to niche down. I just did whatever, shot just cool stuff, photo, video. And then I remember I did an engagement session, and that got some traction. It had like 30K views. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I posted that must work. So then I started posting more couples and then more couples. And then I realized, like, I'm actually getting hit up a lot for this. Let me really go into it. So like today, I don't really like to say I only like do weddings and romance and stuff. I like to still do other stuff, but if it's working, I'm going to keep leaning into it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that can be your main focus and you can still do other stuff.
100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, speaking about the social stuff, though, you did go viral.
Yes. That was fun.
That's interesting. What, like, can you explain that a little more? Like, expand, like, what happened? Like, how did it make you feel? How did it affect your business?
So, should I explain what happened?
Well, just insert, here's the reel that got Jay viral. I think the reel is pretty self-explanatory.
So, this reel ended up going viral for me, and at the time, I only had maybe 6,000 followers, and in like 4 days, I ended up coming up to like 20K. And the video has 1.8 million views, and it was great. I got a lot of great positive attention. And Paula, she was so excited to see me, ran up to me, gave me a hug. In the moment, it was like I almost don't remember what was happening, because one, it was very cold. Two, it was like shock. I was like, so much attention on me at the video. You hear me go like, oh, like, go over there, go enjoy it. This is on you. That was a beautiful moment. I remember driving home that night being like, oh my God, I think I have gold here. Like, this can work. This can take off. I sat on the video for a couple days, like 2-3 days. I knew I wanted to, like, if I'm going to release it, I have to do it the right way. So edited it in a way that I think would do good. Posted it, ended up getting traction, ended up going viral, and that ended up happening in January. The results of that business-wise, most of my clients, they inquire on, say, day one. It normally takes around 2 months for them to book. So then that was January. March, I ended up having like my highest grossing month. So I did see like the result of that video.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people sleep on how beneficial social media is. Because even when I talk to like a lot of like prospects and like people that are possible clients, like what's the ROI? And like it's not necessarily always direct, right?
I do think though, for her specific case, because you don't see that too often, where a lot of people get a lot of views and a good follow up from it. But like even when looking through, it's because like if you watch her viral video and then you watch all the other videos that came right after, those views also were up. But the thing is, all that content was also very good. And you think about the people you follow. You watch one thing, that's not what causes you to follow them. You go on their page and you watch. And so because the consistency was still there, I think that was the biggest, like, when I saw that, what I saw was she kept planting the right seeds, and then one popped off, but everything else also, like, bolstered her up in order for that to convert into followers. So I think that was, like, the big thing, is she's just been attacking it regularly, and then that one happened to pop off. By the way, that speaking segment was amazing. Yeah, well, you're doing really good. I was like, I don't know if she knows. She's like really killing it
right now.
Yeah, you just killed it before, right?
I'm really bad at talking.
No,
thank you.
How did you meet Jay? Because the first time I ever see which is kind of crazy, is how small this industry is, first of all, and this world. The first time I ever seen any of your work was I was working with this other girl doing weddings, and she sent me this one reel, and she was like, "How can we recreate this? Because we're gonna have to shoot inside." And it was that one with the light. You put up a light, and it was like the darker skinned lady with like the white dress, I think it was, and it was like her walking through a bar, basically.
Yeah. That was at the loft.
Yeah, something like that. And actually ended up being Jen. And then when we were in Arizona together, and you said Jay, and then they all came together. I was like, oh shit, this is the girl that Jen sent me, and they all know each other.
Yeah.
So, but like, how did you end up meeting Jen?
I just want to say I was like a fan, and still am, homie. Still am a fangirl of Hamza. Like, I followed Hamza on Instagram way before I met him in person. And we had a mutual friend. I go to the gym, and same dude went to the gym who's also friends with Hamza. I'm like, oh my God, like, you know Hamza? Like, how is he? What's he smell like? Like, so I slid into his DM, and I was like, I'm a huge fan, love your work. Happy to have connected, something like that.
Yeah, but the weird thing is she would say all these things, like, I want your autograph, whatever. And then go on her page, and I'm like, wait, hold up. Your work is amazing. Like, why? Like, in some cases, I'm more impressed by you than I am by my own work. Like, is she like gaslighting? What is happening? Because she was so good. So
I paid him to say all this. Yes, I did.
No, right from the cuff too. Because I would talk to the Vendettis, and I would say, Jay is like the sweetest person, but out of everyone that I've seen online that hits us up, like, her work is actually like outstanding, and she's nearby. And I think like over time, initially we would see like how many people can we have to like shoot, come help out, and you were a name that popped up plenty of times until I think we finally had the opportunity to do so. But the first time we met was not expected. It was at one of my really close friends. Like, he used to be my best friend in 5th grade. I went to his wedding, and she was shooting the wedding.
See what I mean? See what I mean about a small world, though? Like,
I started sweating.
And that was a week before we were actually going to meet on a wedding day.
Yeah, I was shooting with you like the next week.
Yeah. So then that's the first time we met. And ever since then, like, anytime something comes up, I'm just like, hey, you available to shoot? She says, yeah. I don't know have I helped you out on the shoot yet?
Wow. Rude, right?
But yeah, through IG.
Sorry, I already asked Basso.
Yeah, we just met through IG for a few years and finally connected. Yeah, actually went, like, I think we became close friends like very quick. It wasn't that long after that where...
I mean, it's not because we're all Pisces or anything.
I know, big Pisces energy in this room right now.
I kind of wanted to go back to how you were like fangirling over each other and how you thought her work was really good compared to your work and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like everyone who's creative does the same shit. Like we all do that. Like we all downplay like how good we actually are and compare ourselves to everyone else, and it's like it's almost unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
That was really unhealthy.
But like I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting thing that is more common. And I feel like people don't talk about it that much. I'm like, why? Why do you think that happens? I guess.
Like imposter syndrome type stuff.
I guess yeah. Maybe it is imposter syndrome.
Why is it imposter syndrome? I think in this case, and I think there's plenty of other cases, a lot of the times, the work that we all create, we're inspired by like the same people. I remember talking to you like Calder, Como, all these other like McKinnons. All these people were very, very good at what they do. We were inspired by their work. And I think we all innately know that when we shoot, we're trying to emulate these people that we look up to, and we post it out into the world. It doesn't feel like it was necessarily you because you're playing an imitation game, which is not a bad thing, right? Still like an artist. And I think every step of the way, what you'll find is you're always trying to improve your work over and over again. So you're never going to see yourself as the people that you look up to. Inherently, you wouldn't do that. I think that also comes with like wanting to improve at the thing that you're doing, right? Because I personally, I don't know how to. I couldn't see myself as a Calder or Como, these people that I look up to, and not feel like cocky about what you get what I mean? Not saying that they're cocky, but I think it's very hard to imagine yourself in the shoes of those that inspire you, right? So I think as a creator, you start to work on that, you develop it in the beginning stages before you have time to sit down and reflect on like how far you've come. The imposter syndrome was going to get you the least expected.
I mean, it gets me all the fucking time. I mean, even doing this.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, what are your thoughts on imposter syndrome?
It's like, it's brutal. Like for me, it is brutal because I feel like I stop myself because of it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like constantly trying to figure out how do I overcome it. It's like easier said than done. I don't know. It's just like something I definitely struggle with heavy.
When do you notice it come up the most?
It's like when I'm trying to like, because I feel like I do know a lot of stuff, but I'm not the best at teaching. So when I do want to like do these like kind of like social media edits and like kind of help other people, I always feel like, well, do I actually know enough? But then I have to remind myself too at the same time, it's like, I might not know, like I might teach something that, all right, you might know this already, whatever, but someone who like her, who's like maybe just dropped out of school and picked up a camera, it's like they're always going to learn something from it. Yeah. So that's how I kind of combat it sometimes, but I still fight with it a lot. I mean, do you run into that, making a lot of all the social media, like?
Oh my God, all the time. Every time I post something on myself, I'm like cringe. I'm like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, see, you're really good at hiding that. Because I don't think that way when I watch your stuff.
But I don't think that way when I watch your stuff either.
Yeah, I guess it's just about, we pick our own shit.
So you are your own worst, you're your own worst, like, critic.
I remember when we were in Arizona and I went to your Instagram and I looked at the videos of like you talking in front of the camera. I'm like, damn, this dude's like a killer in front of the camera.
Yeah, and then I stopped. But I'm starting again, so yeah. I'm going back to it. But I don't know, do you both see yourself doing weddings? Like, not necessarily forever, but like in the next 5-10 years, do you still see yourself shooting weddings or engagements? Or do you want to like kind of like systemize that enough where you could just take on bigger, better projects and things that you're truly want to do?
You shared how you got into weddings, right?
Yeah, I shared. Do you want to what do you want to do? Do you want to answer that or do you want to?
You can answer that question and then I can.
You can go into why you started weddings.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not against it, and the idea would be to do less weddings so I'm able to.
Hey, white girl, it's been a long day. It's all good.
If not weddings, what would you want to do? Like, what is your ideal, like, job or shoot, or is it necessarily leading a team to do those things for you for a certain industry, or is it like something that you always wanted to do creatively that you want to like make sure that your weddings and engagement things are kind of handling themselves, so then you could focus more on those?
I still think it's okay to not have one, because the way and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're doing very well in it right now, but you like the option of like going wherever like your creativity flows.
That's why I was saying like free flowing. So like, yeah, I mean like I'm down. I'm down. Yeah.
She's down to do it, but she's not committed to it, right? She's not. I get it.
Yeah, it's just hard to explain right now.
No, it's all good. That's why we're here. She's a free flowing sister.
Free flowing sister.
What about you, Ham? Do you see yourself doing this forever? I don't think so.
Well, where do I start? How I started weddings.
Well, let's start there.
So how I started wedding, I told myself I did not want to do weddings.
Actually, sorry to cut you off, but we had that. I remember when the first time you took on a wedding, you were saying exactly that. Like, I told myself I wasn't going to do them, but I said a number and they said yes, so I'm doing them. Like, it was pretty much.
I'll keep going.
So I didn't want to do weddings. I gotta finish doing this.
2 hours later.
Right?
No.
I didn't want to do weddings, but all the initial weddings I got inquired for were people I was really close to. So the first one was a coworker who was a really good friend, and I said, sure, yeah, of course I'll do it. From there, I saw someone from college who reached out, also friends with her, and even her to-be husband. We actually used to work together. She was getting married and said, I saw this video, can you make it for me? And I said, you're super sweet. Yeah, I'll do it for you. And then I did a fitness video for somebody, and I got really close to him. He said, can you do my wedding? I said, okay, all these people that I really like, I'll do their wedding for them. And then I started getting more inquiries for it. And then I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to make it, because I'm starting out, a price that I'd feel stupid saying no to. And people started biting that price. So I was like, all right, shit, I'd be stupid not to do this. So then Anthony at Lifetime, Ann and Ash both helped me out on 2 of the weddings. And this is when they initially sat down with me and said, hey, like, can we shadow you? You don't have to pay us, but we just want to come out and just like learn from you. I said, yeah, of course, let's do it. Had 1 wedding with them each individually. And I just loved working with them. And so I went up to him and I said, hey, I'm down to do this. If you guys are, I will literally help you learn whatever. I just don't want to do this alone. I like doing things with people. And I like you guys. So why not just do this together and like, we'll learn it together. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. And yeah, and now it's kind of crazy where it's come to.
I think it's funny how we all like, everything connects back to a gym in a weird way. Like, I worked at a gym before I started doing this. You met everyone in the gym. That's how Jay met. Like,
As we eat pizza.
As we eat. It's all good. We deserve this. We deserve this.
Yes, we do.
But yes, that's how weddings started. Do I see myself doing this the next 5 years? Yes. I can do this, but I'm still not attached to the idea of weddings. My goal, my dream isn't necessarily to, I want to be known as this in the wedding industry. I just want to make better work than I did before. And I want to grow the team. I want to be able to do things for people and with people that I care about. And I want to constantly be pursuing just the next level, right? Even if it's for myself or for the business, I want to take Nura to a luxury level, right? I want it to be like on Harper's Bazaar, top 10 videographers or photographers in the world. I want that, namely because I know in order to get there, it's going to be a whole team unit, united effort. And along with that, it's learning things like marketing, branding, networking, all these small things that come into play. So I could see myself doing that because I really want that. I want us to be able to constantly keep pushing ourselves creatively and also learning all these quote unquote hard skills of how to grow a brand and a business to that point. Because I think with that, it enables you to do a lot more, right? And it's the same concept of how if you learn how to grow a business in one area, you have the ability and skill to do it in other areas too. And I see myself creating that more through Nura than with most of the other stuff that I do.
What would be your dream gig?
Like ever?
Yeah, like if you could just like pick something and do it. Like,
Dream gig.
yeah.
That's a hard one to answer. I don't really.
I got it.
You do?
Give me a sunset in Italy. That sounds on a boat.
See, but that wouldn't be my dream gig though. Like, but like, what would you define as a dream gig?
I don't know, like working with your favorite company, like shooting something for them, or like anything of that sort. Like maybe you want to produce a whole commercial for someone, and maybe you want to shoot your own film. Like it could be really anything.
My own film. My dream gig is I've always wanted to make a video of my dad, but I don't know where to begin or where to start. But I know like whatever that is, I want it to be very like true. I think in the most like creative sense of creative expression, that my dream would be to see that come to life. I just don't know how.
Would you guys ever see yourself going back to a 9 to 5? Hey, I just a question because, like, for people who want to do this, it's like it's a hard thing. It's not something that's easily done, right? So it's like
hard doing 9 to 5.
Or you're about to rip.
yeah, I want to hear you rip. I want to hear it. That's what we're here for. It's about it's conversation.
So the reason why I don't like 9 to 5, for me personally, right? The agonizing thing about a 9 to 5, just what I hated was I would wake up and go to the same spot every single day, the same exact view, be around people who would look forward to Friday and dread Mondays, and it was this commonly understood thing, and no one questioned it. It just is the way it is. And the idea of just corporate bullshit where it didn't really matter how good you were at something, it was all political. It was a political game, and it didn't make sense to me, like the scale of growth. And it's like what, the hedonic treadmill too? Is that the term? Where you're just like constantly running on a treadmill, like,
Yeah,
for more, but you never really get there. I feel like that's what corporate really teaches you, is just to be elaborate. Actually,
that's why a lot of people job hop nowadays. That's a big thing you might see on like social media. It's like people are like every 2 years hopping to a new job because that's the only way they get like an increase in their raise.
Yeah, the thing is, like with a 9 to 5, you have that safety, but I don't know anyone. Most people in a 9 to 5, you correct me if I'm wrong, are always bitching and complaining about what they're doing and want something more, but they like the safety, so they don't. And I hate the idea of my existence being wasted away complaining about what I'm doing for a living. It's just like that scares the shit out of me. Like, why would anyone want to live every day complaining about where they're at? You know, I think it festers like a terrible attitude about life.
I love how you say it's safety though, because I feel like it's not like people don't realize this either. It's like not really safe either, because at any moment that person could be like, I don't need you anymore.
Humans crave certainty. That's why.
But it's not even certain.
It doesn't matter. They crave certainty, right? They see a path that everyone else has been on. And most people, it's crazy. If we talk to people about certainty and safety, they don't realize that it's all like made up in our heads. Like the idea that you know that you'll retire in 40 years is one of the most like dumb things ever, because the possibility of you getting hit by a truck tonight, it's like, people don't think that way. They think they have time because everyone else is doing it. They see themselves in that path. That gives them certainty, even though certainty in and of itself is not real. You cannot guarantee anything happening 100% of the time. So, but it's a social construct, right? So if everyone's buying into that social construct, the people who do these things like we do creatively, when you have your own business, inherently it's uncertain, because the path you're walking on is going to be different than everyone else, because your skill set, your characteristics, your personality, and your life experiences are different. And that's what makes you as a creative and as a business different, is you have different experiences. And I think the hardest thing is that we don't have people to bounce like ideas back and forth with, nor do we ever get that 100% certainty in, will this thing actually work? Because in school you can get by like passively, oh yeah, I'll go into school and do this curriculum and I'm guaranteed a job. And they do these stupid stats of like 80% of people will get a job here. Not telling you that you're actually going to take like 10, 20 years to pay out your student loan debt just to be enslaved again. Right.
Yeah, we're all doing. I don't know if you still have student loans, Jay, but
I did.
A little bit.
We all fucking deal with that shit.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's not, The choice seems like to me, well, let me ask you this. When you guys look at business or like going into it, do you think that's made you a better human being?
What?
Trying to grow a business, your own thing. Overall, do you think it's been good for your development?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you really reflect on what you do every single day, because it's really you versus you. Like, if something has to get done and you're you really have to take the time to get it done. So, it teaches you to be self-aware. Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Looking, and even if you have employees, like dealing with other people, managing personalities and stuff like that, learning how to deal with people, talk to people, how to move with empathy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does make you a better person, but it also can be a little bit, it can be unhealthy too, to a certain extent too.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I'm like very hard on myself about a lot of that stuff. So even like you said, like today when you got here, you're like, oh no, when we talked about it the other day, either way, you were like, I'm forcing myself to take a break. Like, it feels wrong, but I gotta do it.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like, if I stop doing anything that's related to what I'm trying to do for a minute, I feel like I fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm missing out on like possible growth or possible clients, or I'm leaving money on the table. Like,
yeah, but
it's hard to step away sometimes.
It is hard to step away, but again, I think the thing is you get to face new realities. What I mean by that is, if you're trying to grow your own business, then it is you versus you, right? Every day you have to take, have an internal checklist of, did I do whatever it takes to get to the next step, right? So you can't get away with a lot. If you work at a job, you don't need to, you can get away with shitty social skills, right? You don't have to talk to anybody if you don't like them. Try being in business, not learning how to be good with people. You have to learn how to genuinely think how other people do, right? Sit in their frame, understand what they want. If you want to do sales, that's what sales is, right? Delivering a value to them. If you want to motivate people, a team, or get to know them, you have to then understand what they need and how you can fit into their life, so that way you can have influence, like genuine influence. I'm not saying manipulation. You wouldn't learn that unless you were in business. Now you're in this situation where you're on the deep end, and now you have something telling you, okay, now I have to learn how to balance it, right? So the thing is that you're always facing these challenges, but year after year, the fact that you're going to the gym now, right? It's because you see where you're at in your business and you want to be better, and you connect the dots where you said, okay, well, I need to increase my confidence. Okay, how about I start with my health, because this will give me confidence. So and that's the thing though, right? Whether or not you feel good about it, you're going in the direction of the better version of yourself, which is the awesome thing, is at least you can release the brakes on there. Yeah, you're maybe over stressing and doing whatever, but in any other case scenario, if you were not pursuing something that you were truly passionate about, you wouldn't be the best version of yourself. So even though you don't feel like it today, you are the best version.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's hard, it's hard because it's not something you physically see and know, right? It's not like numbers on a paper, right? So it's just about knowing that you're keeping up.
But we're not numbers on a paper.
I know, but sometimes it's again, go back to the comfort thing, of knowing.
But I'm telling you, you never really get comfortable. And I'll tell you this. I remember the first time I saw 100K. I remember the first time I saw 200K. When I was at 200K, it was after a long day. I opened the fridge up in the middle of the night, and I looked at it, and I closed my phone, and I felt nothing. And I was like, fuck, I'm burnt out. This is what I thought this would make me feel confident, but I'm still the same imposter. I feel everything that I felt before. So it really isn't a number game. And I think it takes a lot of reflection to understand what this game is, right? Where even when people try to motivate someone else, I already know I'm never going to do this, but I'm imagining, and I've seen people do this. Imagine if I came to you about anything and I said, but I pay you this much for a wedding, and I ask you to do something, that I use a number of a measurement to then try to then woo. That just comes off arrogant, like a prick. I would never do that. So the reason I'm saying that is, why do that to yourself? You're not a number, right? There's no number that dictates your worth. It is just this I think, internal dance where we all have to learn that we're struggling for something greater. The struggle is a good thing. And because we are struggling, we are actually, in a weird way, we should be proud of ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would say, okay, so this is something that, as creatives, right? Or creativity, what is creativity? And I think you guys felt this too. In like those moments where you're shooting and like everything just like, when we went to New York that day, when you're shooting just to shoot, it's the idea of you're literally being, you're not thinking about being, right? This state of like nirvana.
The flow state.
The flow state. Creativity thrives on an open state of mind, right? Even in psychology of like productivity, openness creates positive emotion and more creative thinking, because creative thinking needs that space. You don't want to sit down and reflect once you start noticing yourself becoming closed-minded. So what are telltale signs? And I think everyone has their own unique signs. If you're becoming a little bit more short, frustrated, annoyed, if you're starting to see yourself like hold on to certain emotions and attitudes and dip in energy when everything else in your life is good and like you're getting a decent amount of sleep or whatever, or actually it might trickle over into that and you start to see yourself kind of become like a little less energetic about life. And I think everyone has internal cues, or you start to get more fearful or scared. That's when you realize you're closing yourself off from entering that state, and that's when you reflect. Then that's when you sit down and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And you give yourself a reason, and you work through that struggle, because then once you have that answer, then you can ease down and then solve that problem and open back up. And it's just this constant cycle. It's like winter and summer, right? Where right now I feel open, energetic, and great. And we all do. And I guarantee you there's going to be a night where we're all editing on our own, just questioning why we're doing this, and we feel like absolute garbage. And then we're going to go out and shoot on the day where we have a wedding, and we're like, okay, this is why we do it, right? So we have this openness and then that closedness. And I think in those moments where when we're alone, like taking the time to understand, okay, why do I feel this way? And Dan Coe is talking about this in the book right now, like the Art of Focus, where he says that people try to fight with their struggle without dancing with it. Because when you understand why you feel the way that you do about anything, you can string it back down and figure out what quirk about you need to fix, right? So, for example, like procrastination is a big one. So because creatives like to be open-minded, right? They don't like anything that closes them off. What happens when you take a creative and you show them that they need to learn marketing, sales, they need to learn how to develop systems, emails, do all of that. All of a sudden they get like piling up and they'll avoid it. Right?
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
We all are. You'll avoid it because what you want to do is thrive in openness, and you're presented with all these, you have to do this, you got to learn how to do this, and it's this giant lesson. As soon as that happens, you close up. So most people will try to avoid it. Why? Because they're being closed off, because they can't tap into that thing that makes them feel creative. But that's the reason why they procrastinate. So how do you actually overcome it? For everyone, it's different, but let's take sales. That's probably the biggest one that people have, where you sit down, you want to learn sales, cold call, or do this, or talk to people. People freeze up. They turn red, right? They don't know how to say.
I see Jay shaking her head over
You said
here.
cold call. I'm like,
You get so worked up, you don't want to do it. But if you have the ability to reflect and say, why do I feel this way? And you start to see a list of, okay, like how many times have I really gotten nervous? Like, have I done this? Is it my first time? No shit, I'm nervous. It's my first fucking time. Like, obviously I'm going to be nervous. And so how do I not get nervous? Okay, let me stack up no's, right? And I remember Alex Ramosia saying this too. He said, just go out and get 100 no's. So I'd call, and my goal was to get a no. And I remember after the first 3, it's like I unlocked a new level where now I can call and I'm not worried at all about it. So by sitting down and reflecting on your struggle, then you can figure out why you're nervous about something, allow yourself to have the space to learn that one specific trait to then unlock this new skill. So point being is that I think a lot of the times people want to run away from struggle, but if you sit down and figure that piece out, you're able to better navigate through the complexities and nuances of your own life and you can find a better way to get to where you want to go. I've been talking to lots of else.
No, I think you're 100% right. It's just like, it's easier said than done, you know? Like, it's just like most things, easier said than done. Like,
Is it? You can do it right now. It's not that hard.
Let's do it right now.
You want to do it right now?
What are we doing right now?
I don't know.
Well, we're going to do it right now.
we're going to make cold calls?
Are you going to make a live cold call?
What's something, so identify
Identify a stressor?
identify something that you know you need to work on, but you haven't. Yeah. Like a personal struggle of yours.
Can I go first?
Yeah, of course.
Talking to the camera.
Talking to the camera.
Yeah.
I am not the right person for this job, but I'm going to try. Okay. So,
Why?
yeah, why does that exist?
Overthinking what I'm saying. Like, am I saying the right things? Do I sound good?
Why do you care about that?
Because I want to seem insightful.
You want to see, so you care about the opinions of other people.
Right.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do here. Why? Okay, we got there, but why do I?
I mean, I guess I struggle with the same thing. I mean, like, you saw it. Like, as soon as the camera started, my eyes like, I don't know. I really, like, it has to be something a little deeper.
So why?
Why? Again, I think it goes back to confidence, like, within myself. Like I've told you, that's why I started going to the gym and stuff like that. Because I feel like, not even the way I talk, because I know I'm not great at communicating. I'm not good at, like, getting my thoughts out. Like, I think quicker than my mouth can talk sometimes, and then I just mumble jumble shit, or it just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so you think you're not good at communicating?
Yeah, so I'm not good at communicating what I'm actually thought, because I don't think I'm not knowledgeable, and I don't think I'm stupid, but I'm just not very good at articulating what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So that's one thing I struggle with. And then the second thing is that it's like how I look, right? So It's like how I look when I'm on camera and stuff like that.
But why do you care about how you look?
Because I don't think I look good. It's more of a me against me thing. Okay. It's like...
but do you have this, like, image of what other people might be saying about you?
Not even, because I know I'm not that way when I'm looking at videos. Like, I know that no one really cares. Like, I've gotten past that part, right? Like, it doesn't matter. It's just like it's against a me versus me thing. I don't know if it's deeper, like it's like maybe something that happened while I was growing up, or how I was raised. Like, it could be anything. Like, you can get real deep, like therapy session.
You could get real deep.
But yeah, it's just like something that stems from somewhere, and I just can't figure it out. But this is me constantly trying to get past it.
Well, so you can take, like, two approaches. If you have the introspection available to you, or therapy session available to you, you can dive as deep as you want, right? Or you can get to where you did and get to a point where you can still do something about it. What I mean by that, you said you're not good at communicating or articulating your thoughts. Okay, great. All of us are like that to a certain extent. But then what you do is then you let that be the topic of interest. So then you look into, okay, how do people speak well? What do they have in common? You know Dan Coe, and I've been consuming a lot of his content, but what he says is, if you want to articulate your ideas better, you need to sit down and write. Not writing for just brain dump, but have an idea and write it. Like, the whole newsletter approach is specifically to articulate your ideas in a meaningful way, so that way you can communicate it. Cool. Let me work on that. Right? Then you have a plan. You stick with that plan that you've determined by yourself. That's one piece. The not being confident part. You can either figure out, okay, I don't know why I don't want to sit in front of the camera, because I'm being, like, self-conscious about this. So let me just instead just say fuck it and do it and see what happens, right? So sometimes you need to just willingly get yourself to jump over that fear. If you were to take care of the communication part, or you saw yourself improving in that front, I think this reason of being self-conscious in front of the camera would also diminish and lower, because now you're building momentum on this end. So then once you sit down, you're like, you know what? I've taken time. I actually feel really good about how I can articulate ideas. Now I know I need to speak in order to get better. All of a sudden, you sitting down to make a podcast is a process-driven endeavor where you now want to get better at speaking your ideas versus, I know I need to make content, but I look like an idiot. You get what I mean?
No, it makes sense. It does make sense. And that's again, why I started going to the gym, because I know that was one part of it. Like, how I feel about how I look. like physically. So that's what I'm trying to change now. And then
Yeah.
just diving into this.
I could even show this to you. It's probably one of the more funniest quirks about me. I have maybe thousands of voice memos on my phone. And it's because each time I will feel, even last week, I felt like an imposter going into my engagement shoots.
Wow.
And I opened my phone, voice memo, and I said, okay, I recognize that this is bad. Let me talk myself through this. And if I can't release this, if I can't get myself together, like there's one technique, release tension, set intention, that I learned, where then I say out loud, this is what I'm feeling. And then this is what I want to feel. This is how I know I should feel when I am creative. So I have a habit of understanding my feelings and allowing myself to talk myself out of it. Wow, that was... Do the thing with Zach, the numbers game. But I think the agency of self-reliance is the thing that people are missing, because we have these conversations, and I think everyone resonates with this stuff, but there's very few amount of people who will actually go back and say, you know what, I'm going to actually just sit down and maybe just write it for like a day. You can't do it for a day. It takes time to build that up. But once you build it up, you start to realize how important it is to sit down and reflect, right? And I go back to think of it this way. We're always like go, 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 but it doesn't make sense with how nature works, right? Nature is never in a go state. We have summer and winter for a reason. There's seasons.
Night and day.
Night and day for a reason. Like black can't exist without white. You can't be on go without rest. And knowing what that rest looks like to you on a macro and micro scale, that rest to you could be, hey, sit down and just give yourself some order. You might just need order. You might just need yourself to remind yourself, hey, you know what? I just need to stick to a plan. I'm freaking out, you know? I get it. This is new for me, but like, let me just take a deep breath, and that's what I'm saying. We just all gotta chill the fuck out.
Well, it just turned into my therapy session.
Still good. Still good.
All right, but now I gotta flip it now. So you got your struggle. Your struggle was what?
And what helped, you did mention like writing stuff down, and before the podcast, I did write a lot of like my thoughts down, and it did help with.
Right, just now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Helps a lot. We're taking the time writing that stuff out. It's important.
I see myself a lot, like our similarities. Yeah. See myself a lot in you.
That's why I think this is like another reason why I wanted to do this, right? Because I feel like we all benefit from this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I mean, I don't really have a lot of other people I could do this with, so I was like, let's start something and start communicating with those people. But yeah, I'm like super grateful I'm able to have these conversations with people like you guys. Especially for the first one, because this is something very new to me. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to give a safe space for other creatives to understand that, you know, a lot of us go through the same stuff. We deal with the same issues. And that's what this is here for, really. So everyone can understand and learn from each other, and in different industries, and like creatives from different industries and whatever. But yeah, if you want to find out more about Hamza and Jay, if you guys want to plug your Instagrams, even your wedding one, because I know you don't have a separate one, but you do.
Yeah, wedding account is at Nura Weddings. My account is at _Hamza Masood. That's a HAMZAMASOOD. No.com. Not like saying .com.
And after you find him, you could go to his followers and type in JAYDEKONY, and you'll find me there.
Or you can find her first.
And then vice versa.
Whatever.
All right. Peace.
Peace.